So, without further ado, I present to you my ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Always assess allegorically adorable anecdotes, articulately addressing any assumingly amended addendums and altered agendas. Anymore, ambivalently attacking with an antiquated arsenal of amplified and aptly and able to abjectly alien allies. Affably, I applaud the admirably aspiring and affectionately alienable actions autonomously apparent anytime anyone astutely attempts to adaptively acclimate to acutely and abusively affected atmospheres, ambiances, auras, and amicabilities. I'm absolutely astounded and amazingly astonished by how aggressively adamant and abhorrently averse to acknowledging actual analytically assessed affirmations as so many avid absolution alienating addicts so absurdly and acrimoniously are. Aimless ambiguity and ardent arbitrariness anonymously assist in adding augmented amounts of agonizingly avowed appropriation to the already arduously arrested and abominably aching aftermath of this anthropically aimed artificial attack. Actually, it's abysmally anxietal, also apprehensively and appallingly alarming, because braggingly boastful bureaucratic bastards brashly bargain like bird-brained, blundering, buffoonic bozos, audaciously bringing big, ball-busting bulldozers, blindly bullying, bereavingly bleeding, and burden-bred beasts. But I bravely breathe to briefly benefit from the blankly benign benevolence bequeathed to and bestowed upon us. Before becoming brazenly bitter, become beneficently better. Build a broader base, brightly broadening our beyond bountifully boundless and bloomingly beautiful baby's best. Because I've been backbreakingly busy, broadly breaking bales of bodega bought bread and barrels of briskly brewed beer, bourbon, and brandy. Booze. Also, continuously concentrate on continually clandestine congregations centrally centered on corruptly concealed collusions, creatively culminating into criminally cruel and caustically cancerous calamities. The corrosively capricious communists chronically crave crucially conflicting conditions, crassly creating cosmically chaotic camps, coercively constricting classically classy cowboys and contemptuously convicting candidly compassionate compadres. Courageously combine the cautiously commingling classes, truthfully causing incredibly clear cleansings of conscientious consciousness, consequently catering to a culturally comprehensive culmination commonly classified as a community. And definitely don't demographically deny due diligence by degradingly debasing its democratic design. The disparate dissonance disgustingly displayed due to dictatorially dogmatic doctrine is a deplorable, despicable affliction of duty, deniably deciding on the dissentingly dystopian destruction and demoralizingly decadent decimation of diasporically dire and desperately due demands. Determinately delve as defiantly deeply as devoutly desired into the duly delightful depths of definably documented and decisively disclosed dictions drenched in descriptively discretionary definitions. Do the math. Because evidently, earthlings everywhere eventually evanesce effortlessly to an essentially effervescent and exorbitantly exponential ethereality. Esoterically elite entrepreneurs exclusively endeavoring to eradicate the enigmatically enthralling and enrichingly enlightening enrichment, ecumenically eliminate effusive evolutionary efforts. Everyone's exquisitely earthly existence efficiently expires, in essence extensively entering an endlessly energetic eternity. Everybody's entity energetically evolves every day. So excuse my emphatically exclamated and enthusiastically educational explanation, because everything's everything. Furthermore, frankly, I forgetfully forget to forgo my festively fiery flame. Forgive my fervently fueled fire and frequently flagrant fact-finding fierceness, for I foresee a fundamentally fruitless fruition of a fiscally ferocious and fastidiously fiduciary fiasco, frantically forming from facetiously fake and feloniously false facades. Forcibly forged friendships feverishly facilitate formidably faction friction. I feverishly fear the fathomlessly fragile frailties, forever forsaking our familial foundations and financial freedom. Because gravely glorifying the greedily grotesque guilds of gratuitously galvanizing goons gainfully gives growingly gainable ground to grossly governing goblins, gut-wrenchingly guilty of guile-guided gratification. Glory is gained by going through gruesomely gritty gauntlets, gingerly garnering graciously great glorification. So gamely gallivant with gleamingly glistening gusto, so as to gladly grace the gracefully grandiose gala and gallantly glamorous garments while gleefully gliding through the globally grimy gamuts of grisly gazes, gambits, and glares. Go and get your G4 groove on. Because the hugest hindering host from heretically hasty Homo sapiens has harassingly halted the homogeneously humble holding of harmoniously heightened humanitarianism. Hence, however much hypocritical humiliation heartfelt humility may hold, humbly helping the hopelessly helpless happily helps never before helped helpers help. Honestly, my heart is heavily hurting. Horrendously, humans have had a harrowingly horrifying and heinously horrible history. Hopefully, hindsight ain't the only hope of having. Indubitably, importantly implemented information invites illicitly immoral intention. Instead, immediately incite inherent innateness to insightfully isolate irrevocably intentional and inauspiciously insidious idiocy, inspirationally inviting intimacy. Incessantly insists on inquisitively inquiring as to impending improvements, impressive illusions. It idealistically impels and interestingly informative incumbents upon infinity's ideal image to iconically instill and intrepidly imply an infinitely inferred invincibility, i.e., I am. Now, jokingly, I jested in justifiable jubilance just to joke gunnily jostle the judiciary gestures jinxing justice. Judge juries have the jurisprudence, right? Because in June or July, Jittery Joe, the jaded janitorially, was judiciously jailed like a jovially jacked up jackal for jokingly jacking Java from jeering Jezebel, Janine, and Joyce while joyfully jogging and jingling his jolly joystick in January. All the while, Jay walking in jail, Jazzy Jeff, Juicy J, Jim Jones, Janis Joplin, Janet Jackson, and Jigga. So it was either Julia the Jekyll jackass or Julie the jilted juvenile who joltingly jumbled Jesus' jujitsu and Jehovah's judo in front of jealously judgmental Jesuits. Jumping Jehoshaphat. But it's okay, because the kettle and kiln in the kitchen were kindled by kingly kindness, while kindredly kind koalas kissed kango keeping kangaroos. But from Key West to Kansas, kaleidoscopically kilometric killings of kicking kindergartners kinetically keep our khaki keen kinfolk healing while kerosene cake karma kills our keystone kingdoms. Oh, and by the way, Krispy Kreme crimpets from Krypton caused Clutzy Kenny, the ketamine kerplunking klepto, to keenly kidnap the Keno canine Kaja the killer. Anyway, lately, legitimately illuminating and lucidly logical literature has lamentingly lost lots of literary legitimacy. Listening to ludicrously loony lyrics laughably loses its lavishly labeled luster. Loquaciously linguistic lunatics loftily lurch and lazily lean for lightly liquored libations, leeringly looking to get loathingly lucky by literally locating legions of lusciously lithe and loosely legendary ladies. Learning life's lastingly long lessons, largely lessons, languishingly lingering liabilities, loomingly lurking like little life-leeching leprechauns. So live, listen, learn, laugh, and love. Because many magically momentous memoirs may momentarily materialize miraculously memorable manifestations, majestically making magnificently monumental memories. Mysteriously, monstrously marauding members of the misanthropically mongering media maliciously make malevolently masterminded masterpieces, mainly metastasizing by way of maniacally minded and micromanaged morons, mostly milking misguidedly mistaken and manageably misinformed martyrs. My. Now, never nurture neither nefariously naughty nor nauseatingly negligent narcissists. Naturally, nobody need nary a notification or newscast. Nevertheless, nomenclative nuances nullify normal notoriety. Nothing but Neanderthalistic nuisances negatively nurturing needlessly numbskull nincompoops. I notably nominate the notoriously named Nasty Nas for next to nostalgically narrate the never-ending nocturne, nightly nestling a phenomenally nonsensical nobility nullifying noise. Obviously, Objectionably oblivious offspring often and ostentatiously objectify others as objectively obtainable objects of obtrusively offensive and optimally opportunistic obsessions, thus obtusively omitting and odiously ousting our only openly observable option of operationally orchestrated optimization, organically obliterating obsequiously ogreish and optically opaque opinions. I obligingly offer and optimistically overturn oneness, overtly oppressing, oppressingly oppressive operations, obediently operating under overly obsessive orders of officially offsetting obedience. Now, protestingly pandering Protestants and promiscuously pestilent pontiffs perpetually propagate a plethora of prolifically powerful plagues by peddling primly pompous and pretentiously perpetrated propaganda. Possessively proud punks, prancingly posing as properly pious and profoundly prudent Puritans, problematically portraying a prestigiously pure premise and precedent. Positively, the principle of pleasure, potently and progressively precipitated by these posters, primarily pedophilic and pricey palatial papacies, precariously places potently polarizing and prodigiously palpable pressure on prominently poor and penny-pinching people. Prayer is plottingly perilous, preying on the politely pleasant pitter-patter of praiseworthy pre-placental princes and princesses. Pensively ponder purely pragmatic priorities, possibly preventing potentially playful and patronizingly pathos positions. I penitently present this preponderantly promising plea. So please, quotingly qualify qualitatively quiescent and quizzically questionable quotas. Quietly quoting quaintly quilted and crackly cued queries while on quantumly qualm quenching and quintessentially quid pro quo quest for quicker giving queens to quickly quell quizzingly queer quirkiness. Quadratically quarantine the quarterly Corey quagmires from Quantico to Quebec, question the quantity qualities of quantitative quotients. Also, the quarterly quintuplets quickly quinceañera at Quiznos required quite qualified quarterbacking. My quivering quads were quiveringly quaky. What quesadillas, though? Anyway, rightfully relish the radiantly resonant rejoicings of righteously rudimentary rewards. Resurgently rise to responsibly reach our respectively refreshing resolutions. Respectfully reason with reasonably rational reasonings and receptively responsive retorts. Repugnantly repudiate the revoltingly reticent rats rigidly refusing to relinquish their repressively royal reign. Remember to relentlessly resist the ruthlessly rude ramblings, rantings, and ravings of ritualistically religious rejects, rapidly rendering to redundant right-wing radicals. Refinely resurrect the reminiscent resilience from the ridiculously rustic rubble of rusty ruins to the roaringly revolutionary and romantically renewed rapport recently realized. Rebelliously reveal the refurbished veneration of rampantly retrograding relationships. Realistically request robustly ratifying reinstatements of reserved rights regarding restitution, reimbursement, retribution, and redemption, or run. But sometimes Stoic silence is essentially soft and seldomly spoken speech. Sympathetically sincere sentiments substantively support successfully symbiotic solidarities. The sensible salvaging of sparingly sweet salvation surprisingly specializes in scintillatingly specious and sufficiently stimulating satisfaction. So sprightly spread the semantically sophisticated and scripturally synopsized soliloquy, selflessly saving the soulfully sacred spirituality from systematically stampeding stigmas and sadistically speculative slaughterings. Succumbing to sardonically stipulative and strategically suspicious sanctions and sordidly stifling and sneaky seductions, sacrilegiously serve to severely sever the serenely satiating sanctimony of our sadly sparse species. So skillfully saunter in symmetrically synchronized steps so as to safely survey the soberly sickening swarming of steadily spawning subjugation while spitefully spitting on slightly slick slanders. So. Because today, totaling the teemingly totalitarianism truly tends to tastelessly take on tawdrily tough twists and tenaciously tempestuous turns, thus, tauntingly tainting tacitly trustworthy tendencies. 10,000 trustingly truthful trustees truthfully trusted the truistically tapestry trustworthiness of triflingly tyrannical triumvirates. Truly televised trends, toxically tempted, titanically turning tides of tastefully twirling thoughts. This tremendously trivializing trap tormentingly tricks these terrestrially traumatized tenants into trillions of tantalizingly tricky treats. So trepidatiously tread on the turbulently trying and treacherously tribulating tread torrentially towards tenderly taught teaching that transcendently traverse topographically taxing terrains. Teamwork. Unfortunately, upsettingly uneducated utterances usually undo upliftingly unprecedented unity. Ultimately, unusually urgent upheavals of undying utopians unanimously urge utterly unusual uselessness. USA's unstably untamed and unjustly unfair uncle is undoubtedly unfit, unimpressingly uppity, unsuspectingly uninformed, undeniably untidy, and unreliably unhinged. Uniquely understanding urbanites from Utah to Uruguay under understandably unacceptable unification, uninhibitably unite usefully untapped unions by unofficially unmasking unsettling utilization of unilaterally unimpeded uniformity. It's up to us. Now, voraciously vicious vernaculars with violently vivacious verbiage vocally validate the vehemently vaultings of vigorously vicissitudinal vocabularies, verbally validate and vindictively vapid vermin. Voltaire's valiantly vibrant verve was venerably visionary, viably vocating virulently valid vengeances, vicariously, vitally vast volumes of vestigially virtued vessels, voluminously both for villainously viperous verdicts with velvety Hellenic vintage. Variably variegated vagabonds, vulnerably vowed or vertically vitalized, virtuously vacant vipers, very verifiably voiced vigor, virtually vanquishes the vegetably gay voices of vagrantly venomous vultures and vice versa. Because whenever we willingly withstand the wily woeful wailings which wantonly whiny worry words warringly whisper, well-worded wisdom is warrantedly welcome. Wise and worthy whistleblowing wizards wisely warn the wearily warn whilst wretchedly wasteful worms wrongly withhold wages. Now wide wandering weeping willows do wonderfully whistle whimsically windy wooings while warmly winking and waving at winter's wiltingly weathered wrath. But weakly I'm weakened, wondrously wondering who would willfully want to welchingly waste what we're so wealthily worth. I wish to wrestle with this wily wail of a wryly weakening wrong, whether I win or not. Now, Xena, the xylophonically xenophobically Xeroxed Xavier's and Xerxes' X-rated Xanax-inspired X-rays, making Xanthium and Xenon the xylophonic Xanadu. Yet yakety yakking Yalitza and yip yapping Yolanda over yonder, yelled yawning because yammering Yachty's yokishly yellowish ya is yeastly yellower than Yin Yang's yellow yaw. Now, yes, youthfully Yuletide yesterdays, yearnfully yell for yesteryear's young yo-yoing youth. Yokelessly yodeling yokels, yearly yielding to yokelishly yelping yetis in Yellowstone and Yosemite. Yikes. But for years I have yearned for Yesenia, the Yankees' yummy yogurtly yams during yoga. And oh yeah, Yanni? Yo. Lastly, zestily zany zigzagging zebras, zenly zippity doodine in Zimbabwe, Zanzibar, Zambia, and Zaire are zippily zoomed into zealously zoned zoos by Zumba zealous Zulus and zephyrusly zenith and Zeppelin zipping over Zion with Zeus, Zorro, Zach, and Jaja. So, now that y'all know my ABCs, hopefully next time y'all say them with me. Thank you. Thank you.